Eduardo Montovani, university student, security researcher, hobbyist, and MediaTek's biggest fan.
I agree with you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Well, yeah.
So, how did you decide on Wi-Fi then?
Well, Wi-Fi in general is one of the least researched topics. A lot of focus is given to the Bluetooth interface because it is even simpler compared to the Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi stands in the mid between the Bluetooth and the baseband because the 4G, 5G connections are really complex under the protocol. So there is a lot of interaction you need to do for connecting to a cell tower. And the Bluetooth instead is way simpler, is implemented almost everywhere, but it was too overlooked for my tastes. I wanted to focus, to target something a little bit more specific, something which was unique. And Wi-Fi was the answer to my question.
And what was your way in? Because it took you a while, right?
Yeah, it is difficult because sometimes everything starts because you don't have anything else to work with, and you just start to randomly search for other components. And Wi-Fi was also interesting. It was intriguing to me because it is like a black box. You talk to this hardware. You say, "Please send over the air this message," and it does, but you don't understand how it works under the hood. And understanding this is a really powerful concept for our days because we tend to use a lot of technology which is black box essentially. So we don't know what is running inside, how it works, how the developer decided to took a specific programming path, if the developers decided to put some strange component which isn't used in production devices and so on.
Is integrated Wi-Fi more at risk than discrete Wi-Fi?
Well, difficult question. Mm, I would say no in general. They nowadays Wi-Fi is pretty secure, like almost everything. With sometimes some new exploits, some new vulnerability came out, but in general, we can say that after 20 years, the state of the security of those devices, yes, it can be enhanced, but in general, is pretty solid, and a lot of work is being done for implementing at least a minimum set of security across every device. So even the low cost hardware has still some layers of security which permits to protect it in some way.
Would you say relative to 5G and to Bluetooth, where does Wi-Fi fit as far as general expectation of security?
Well, it depends also from the focus of the community because Wi-Fi had, of course, its research targets. It has a lot of research over the 20 years, but I find that 5G security has more people involved because the interface, the surface of attack is much bigger. And when you can interact with a specific hardware in multiple ways, it is almost sure that you will find some bugs, some things that the developer didn't watch, didn't understand fully. And the humans, we are still humans, so you can write some bad code and live untouched for dozens of years.
Which brings us to now we have AI as a tool.
Yeah.
So, are you using LLMs in your research? Yeah.
Yeah, I think for this MediaTek Wi-Fi research, no, because I finished it with Daniel like the last year when AI, yes, were powerful, but not so powerful.
Right.
And also, for example, for bypassing the firmware encryption, I didn't have the necessity of talking to an AI, but especially now in those months, AI is gaining a lot of consideration in the security research from every side because one of its main advantages that it can be used for a lot of purpose. It is like general purpose. You can reuse it in many contexts, and Wi-Fi security is one of those. I'm not aware of any research on Wi-Fi security which had been done with LLM and similar. Probably they will come out, or probably some are already on the network. And this is normal. I think we need to to understand that the AIs, if used correctly, are extremely powerful and permit to enhance the user privacy, the user security
Mhm.
from almost every point of view.
Do you think that we're gonna need domain-specific context in order to protect better? Can you or are we gonna be able to use these general purpose LLMs?
I am pretty sure that some works is being done for using LLMs in really specific areas.
Mhm.
I am aware of some of those. Um, in my experience as a researcher, I must say that LLM are extremely good.
Mhm.
AI in general, especially the three or four most used agents
Right.
are really good because they have so many parameters. They have so many knowledge about what you are doing that they will know some way for helping you. They will be able to help you in some way.
Even just searching and finding SDKs that have been leaked, as you mentioned in your talk.
Uh, yeah, in general, I must say that the AI tries to avoid this because you know you can get some illegal parts, and in general, I must say that it is quite cool to know that AIs have some sort of knowledge about the private part
Right.
of the Wi-Fi chipset,
Mhm.
and in this case Wi-Fi chipset, and well, they are useful also for this. But in general, I prefer to use the human
Mhm.
part for finding how an hardware works, how to understand how it works under the hood, the involved the low level operations and similar, because still the humans have some sort of imagination that
Mhm.
the AIs cannot still fully implement.
Mhm. Do you think that's gonna change in the next couple of years? 'Cause I keep hearing that. That's a recurring theme, right?
Yeah.
We use it as a tool, but unless we have kind of an expert human, it really can only go so far.
I read several papers about this. Also, several blogs are discussing this because um, people's since in 2025 maybe I don't think would ever imagine that AI could reach the level of the 2026,
Mhm.
and probably this capability will increase over the years.
Mhm.
For me, the real question is what is the maximum point for an AI? Can it completely replace a human? And if this is true, will be possible to, in some way, still use humans for working on, hardware security or in general security? Because it is true that AI is an important tool, but in some way we still need to play with the humans, because this the technology we are working and we are using is still implemented and invented by
Mhm.
humans, and we cannot delete this factor from our equation. So I think that even in the future, AIs will be way better than us.
Mhm.
They are still improving each month.
Mhm.
Also, this talks thanks to the competition between the companies,
Mhm.
the AI companies.
Mhm.
And well, I'm pretty curious too to know what the AIs will be able to do, like in 1 years, 2 years, and so on. I don't have a correct reply for that.
What's your biggest recommendation to companies right now who are producing these embedded style chips to secure themselves or future proof?
Now, there are several important things to think, because the most important one is to reduce, at least in my opinion, at the maximum possible level, the surface of the exploitation path. This means that if you implement a lot of useless things, which maybe can be used for marketing purpose or similar, you can increase the danger level
Mhm.
of a specific software. But on the other side, I would say that this can be in some way not beaten, but decreased by the use of AI agents, really good programmers,
Mhm.
because also the knowledge, a programmer with 20 years of experience now how the hardware works, and this can be still known to AIs, but it is a little. I think that is still it will need some years in order
Mhm.
to achieve this level of knowledge about the inner working of every hardware even to an AI. But yeah, my biggest advice would be to continuously do, code analysis and to overthink about the hardware. How can I enhance it for the next revision, the next marketing, I don't know, advertising and similar.
What is, just kind of a fun question, do you have a garage or a lab that you work in?
No, no. I decided to work on a small Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and 5G devices because they are extremely portable.
Mhm.
You can bring with them almost everywhere.
Mhm.
And the main advantage of this is that you don't have also to spend a lot of money in this.
Mhm. Mhm.
I am preparing a talk about a really cheap hardware, 4G hardware, which is produced in China,
Mhm.
and you can find for $10 online, and it is incredible because it permits to do a lot of things that even really expensive hardware most of the time it's time to avoid or to protect in some way.
Mhm.
And I find this really really interesting aspect because there is a part of the cybersecurity research which focus on the so-called research or common off-the-shelf
Mhm.
devices, which are the hardware we use every day,
Yeah.
and those are really similar to the expensive and professional hardwares that are used for different purposes.
Mhm.
So yeah.
What's your most fun tool that you have?
Well, I have written some tools which permit to interact with some really uncommon hardwares,
Mhm.
which you can find only, for example, on the Chinese market or
Mhm.
in some other Asian market.
Mhm.
Those are cool for me.
Mhm.
I tend to prefer about to creating like an interface layer for adapting every hardware to a specific need by studying, for example, which capability an hardware can give to you. And if the capability is interesting enough, you can
Mhm.
try to exploit it at best. I would say that they created a specific web page that
Mhm.
permits to interact directly with a Wi-Fi USB dongle from China, and it permits to do almost everything you could do from penetration testing. So you can send data, receive data, set the card in monitor mode, get sniff some data from the air, and so similar.
And so where should we go to learn more, find out more about what you're doing or working on?
Of course, yes. For now, I will doing my best for um sharing my
Mhm.
ideas and the research with
Mhm.
other peoples
Mhm.
because I really think that it is useful, and also many people who aren't interested in hardware, which is a really full topic once you get in, can be little bit more interested to study and work not on my project but in general on the hardware security part. Maybe I can give a little bit of help for somebody who is in the audience and wants to learn more about it.
Thank you, Eduardo
Thank you.
Montovani.